We are now live. Hey players, welcome to another live stream here on my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh, and every single week I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. And in this live stream, I'm going to walk through your dating questions, things that are on your mind, how to talk to your crush, how to ask them out, how to send a text message, how to deal with getting ghosted, how to get out of the friend zone. Whatever it is you're dealing with, I'm here to talk about it, share some solutions and some answers, and kind of walk you through on what your next step should be. Now, if you're someone that's brand new in the live stream, you never watched before, you're someone that's joining for the very first time, jump in and answer that chat poll there. Let me know. I know we have a lot of OGs, original people that always come on live streams. I'm happy to welcome the OGs, and I'm always happy to welcome new people as well. Now, oh no, very laggy. Why is it laggy? Hopefully the lag will balance out, guys. It doesn't show that it's laggy on my end, but not sure why it's laggy. We will see. We will see. Hopefully it gets better. But anyway, welcome everyone. Thank you guys for joining in. If you're someone that's joining in for the very first time, or like I said, you're an OG, the lag is back. Let me see. You guys keep me updated on. I'm going to switch around a few things. Let me know if the lag gets better. But I do want to give shout outs to all the early birds in the chat. Those are the people that jump on right from the get-go. So if you're someone that's in here right from the get-go, jump into the chat and say hi, and I'll give you your due shout out. Let's see who we got in here. Let's see. Hold on, I'm just trying to check the stream settings. Stream health poor. All right. I have my Ethernet wire plugged in directly, so hopefully it'll get better. Let's see. Hopefully the stream status will go up. Anyway, let's jump in and see who we got in here. Juan speaks. Good to have you, Juan. Juan says, hi, everyone. And Josh, good to have you as well, Juan. Nilix is in the house. Nilix says, Josh, can you learn how to talk French? Oui. Maybe one day I'll try to. Bean 2.0 is in here. Good to have you, Emma. Judah Rondez. Rage Masters in the house. Bonkers G. Good to have you, man. Horror Moore says, Josh, it's been a while since I joined the stream. Yeah, dude, it has been a while. I hope you're doing good, man. And I hope that, jump in, ask a question, whatever's on your mind. Let's chat, and let's chat and talk. Christian Barron is in here as well. Hopefully the lag will level out, guys. Curtis Reed says, Josh, can I call you, Curtis? You can always send me a text message. Let me know what's going on. My texting phone number is, I'll type it in the chat here. Just shoot me a text message, and we can chat there. Put your bit rate up. Yeah, my bit rate is up to 2,500. On OBS, and on the YouTube stream settings it says that it's excellent, the stream is healthy, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's an OBS thing, or maybe it's just my internet. I have to check. Anyway, we're here. Let's give more shout outs in here. Anthony Quentel's in the house. Hamza Shalabi's in here as well. Molo P Mankind, good to have you. Fit Alpha says, hi Josh, how to start a text with a girl for every time. I'll get into that question first in just a second. Branded Bricks says, hi, hey Josh, good to have you, Branded Bricks. Grayson the Goosebumps Kid, good to have you, man. Flair the Hedgehog, Cookie Monster, Stuart Douglas is in the house. Let's see who we got here. Curtis Reed said, thanks Josh. Awesome. Anthony Quentel, good to have you too, man. Cool, guys. So I'm going to jump through and answer your questions. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up on this video, the more thumbs up we get, the more YouTube kind of says, hey, people are watching. Let's share it out with more people. We can get more people in the fold, which is awesome. Always a lot of fun. Now, if you have a burning question, as I'm going through picking questions from the chat, if you have a burning question, something that is on your mind that you just need my answer for right now, something that you just want to get my perspective on, you can always use the super chat function. That way you could donate $1, $2, $5, whatever it may be. I'll hear a little fireball sound, and it'll put your question front and center in front of my face. I'll stop what I'm talking about, and I will answer your question, because that's how I treat burning questions. It's a fire that needs to be put out. So feel free to use that super chat function. Let's take a look at the chat poll that I set up here, guys. Is this your first time joining the live stream? 62% said no, 38% said yes. It's cool. So we got about 2/3 of the people are regulars, 1/3 of the people here are new. So happy to have all you new guys in here, and I'm happy to have all you OGs as well. All right, let's end this poll. We'll probably pull up more polls in the future, but I want to jump in and answer some questions in here. So I know that Fit Alpha asked that first question here. Hey Josh, how to start a text with a girl for every time? So this is a good question, I guess. How do you kind of get a conversation going every time you want to message someone? What do you talk to them about? How do you get the ball rolling on that? Now, every next conversation you have should compound based on the previous one, right? So if you're talking to a girl for the very, very first time, you don't know anything about her, you want to use that first initial conversation as a way to kind of learn something about her. Learn about her hobbies, her interests, things she likes to do for fun, what her friends are like, what her plans are for the summer, what her favorite Marvel movie is, or what video games does she play. You want to learn something. Then as you learn more about that girl, you can compound on that. The next conversation you have can rest on something you talked about previously. Maybe she mentioned one of her favorite video games is, the Zelda series. She loves playing Zelda on the Switch. Maybe you can talk about Zelda. You can talk about other Switch games you like to play. You can recommend games. You can ask her for recommendations. Let your conversations kind of snowball into each other. Now, if you have a conversation and it falls flat and you're like, okay, well, how do I start a new conversation with her? I think the way to kind of start a new conversation when you're just kind of like closing off the previous thread and starting a brand new thread is ask a question or ask for her advice on something, right? People love to talk about themselves. People love to share their own thoughts, their own feelings. They love to recommend things that they like. So if you tell her, hey, I'm really bored one day and I want to watch something on Netflix, what would you recommend? She'll probably jump in and share a good movie or a good TV show with you because people like to share things that they like. So that might be a good way to kind of re-spark a new conversation if you notice one of them kind of, the one you're having just kind of dies. But generally you want to build conversation after conversation. That's going to help you kind of build upwards and get closer to her. Nick, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't know if it's come in yet. Let's check. Oh, it has come in. I didn't hear the sound. Nick asked, how do I build up on convo with crush in order for her to say yes to a date? Good question, Nick. What should I say if she tries to friend zone me? Yeah, Nick, that's a really good question. I did a video on this recently too, but I'll kind of break it down a little bit more for you here. So the way that you kind of build up towards a date is that as you talk to your crush and get to know them better, as you really start to learn about her and you start to see what you guys have in common, you definitely want to throw in those flirty lines. And I know, Nick, we talked about this in the past before about how to kind of build up those flirty lines, right? The flirtiness could be something as simple as like, wow, I didn't realize how cool you are to talk to. Or, wow, you're pretty awesome, actually. I didn't know you liked this thing. Like, throw in these lines that let her see that you acknowledge her for who she is and that you do want to get closer to her, that you do enjoy your conversation and you do see something building there. That's going to kind of be the core component to build up to a date. Now, when it comes to asking her on that actual date, what you really want to do there, Nick, is, and this is something that you'll see, I think it's next week's video is going to kind of touch on this topic too. To really build on that, you want to kind of hype up an activity or an event of something that you guys can do together. So a good example is, let's say the Black Widow movie just came out, right? Or Space Jam just came out and people are watching it in theaters. You might want to talk to her about your interest level on that. Oh, wow, it looks so exciting. It looks so much fun. I want to check it out. And if she's also excited about it, invite her to join you on that date. Invite her to join you in kind of checking that thing out and doing it together. That's how you can kind of build up towards the date. Now, if she tries to friend zone you, if you say, hey, we should go out sometime, and she says, cool, let's do it, but as friends, you then have to make that decision for yourself. Do you want to move forward acting as just friends, or do you not really want to take that path? If you are okay with moving forward, just kind of being friends, then tell her, okay, cool, I'm cool with going as friends. If you're not okay with it, then you might want to kind of be honest and say, actually, I was thinking that our hangout would be a little bit more like a date. I'm not really interested in building just a friendship with you. I want to get to know you better. Is that something that you want to explore too? So asking her kind of that openly is going to get an honest response from her. She's going to tell you, actually, yes, I only want to see you as a friend, or actually, no, I'm open to seeing where things go. But be honest about where you stand, because if you just kind of go with the flow and she's like, cool, let's go as friends, and you're like, oh, okay, let's go as friends. Boom, you're solidifying yourself in the friend zone. So you definitely want to be clear about your intentions of what you want, and never kind of let someone pull you along just because you're getting attention from them, which a lot of people tend to do. But really, really good question, Nick. Thank you for the super chat. Let's jump in. Yancey says, hey Josh, what do I do when Carol and Erica block me for looking at Carol's stories and I send Erica boring messages? Interesting, Yancey. So if you feel like you got blocked for looking at a girl's stories, it's hard to tell sometimes, because it's a weird thing for, like, if you're following her on Instagram, if you're following her on Instagram and you look at her stories, it doesn't make sense that she would block you. Like, why would she block you if she accepted you as a friend, to follow her and stuff? It's possible that the messages maybe are the ones that kind of bothered her or annoyed her, made her feel uncomfortable. So that's something you may want to revisit and think about, Yancey. Ask yourself, the things I'm asking her, Are the conversations engaging enough? You're gonna see. I recorded a video actually on Monday that's gonna come out 2 weeks from now, where it's kind of a chart. You guys know I love making charts with stuff, so I made a chart which kind of showed, in a conversation when you're talking too much about your crush or talking too much about yourself, and you're talking too little, or too much. And that kind of chart allows you to kind of see where am I placing my conversations with my crush. Am I talking equally about my own experiences and also asking her questions? Am I talking too much? Am I talking too little? It's going to help you balance that out a little bit better. Harmore says, Josh, I'm having a heart procedure tomorrow. How do I deal with the stress? Yeah, man, that's really, really scary. You know, like any type of surgery or any type of procedure like that can be incredibly terrifying. And it's okay to feel scared, right? Like a lot of times people say like, oh, just ignore the fear. But fear is normal, right? I think where you can try to focus your intention on is this, that what is the purpose of this surgery? What is the purpose of getting this heart surgery? Well, the purpose most likely is so that you can feel better, so that you can live longer, you can spend more time with your family and your friends, you can enjoy life, you can do all these amazing things. The surgery is going to give you access to that. Now, is there risk? Yes, there's risk. However, on the other side, there are so many amazing things that await you. Right? And a lot of times it's hard for us to perceive and think about what's in our future, right? It's kind of like saying when you first met your best friend and you barely knew them, you never anticipated all the awesome hangouts you guys were going to have or all the amazing memories and inside jokes. You never anticipated any of that, right? Because you just met them for the first time. But if you approach that person and say, this is a person I really enjoy, I feel like we're going to build a strong bond, you can then start to appreciate and know that that trajectory is ahead of you. And I think with this surgery, it's similar. It's a similar kind of case. Knowing that you're going to get this surgery is going to allow you to see what lies ahead for you, man. There is so much in your potential future, so much for you to do, so many things, so many people in this world for you to influence and help. So if you can start to think, okay, once I get the surgery, how do I want to carry forward in my life? What type of life do I want to lead? How can I lead a life with purpose? I think if you get your mindset focused on that element, it might help you kind of recognize that the surgery is part of your story, right? It's simply just a part of your story. And doesn't mean that you're not going to feel afraid, but recognize its placement in your lifespan there. But that's a really, really good question, because sometimes getting a procedure or surgery can be really scary, and people sometimes, you know, it's the only thing that weighs on your mind. It's hard to think of other things. So I understand where you're coming from on that. All right, let's jump in and answer some more. But first, let's take a quick water break. It's not as hot in this room, which is great. Steve Squad says, it's difficult to know when you're talking too little or too much. Should be a great future video. Yeah, Steve Squad, I totally agree. That's why I recorded it, because I feel like people fall into that place a lot, right? They don't know. Oh, let's switch it. They don't know if they're texting their crush too much. They don't know if they're talking too much about themselves. So in that video, I'm going to break down kind of finding that perfect balance of how to talk about yourself and also how to learn more about your crush, because those are really the two elements of developing a relationship with someone: learning about them and sharing about yourself. You want both of you to feel comfortable with the other person, and the only way you do that is by learning about them. All right, let's jump in and answer some more. Molly P says, when your crush would say, leave me alone, does this mean you are rejected? Molly P, the short answer is probably yes, right? If your crush is asking you to leave them alone, chances are something happened, right? Something happened that made them feel uncomfortable or made them feel nervous or anxious, maybe in talking to you, maybe in interacting with you. A good thing to do is if someone tells you to leave them alone, it's important to reflect and say, wait a second, what happened here? What did I do? What could I have done better? What can I do next time? Those are the questions you really want to rest on, right? Sorry. Because if you just dwell on the fact that, wow, they told me to leave them alone and that sucks and I'm angry, then it's going to be hard for you to kind of reflect, because your mind is not focused on learning. Your mind is focused on feeling there, right? So you want to also figure out how you can add learning into the experience of dealing with the situation like that. But most likely, it probably means they rejected you. They don't want to talk to you right now. Diego says, How do I respond when I ask out my crush and she says she doesn't know about dating me, even though we've known each other for like months now? Diego, this is a really, really good question. I did a video on this actually. Like if your crush is not ready to date, what do you do? Well, it sounds to me like you guys have spent months getting to know each other, building up a close connection of some sort, and yet for some reason she still doesn't want to date you. Now, it's important to reflect on what factors may be present in her life that may be causing that or leading to that, right? So there's a few different common factors people tend to deal with that usually lead to that outcome. One of them is that they feel like they have a lot on their plate, right? Maybe she's dealing with a lot with school and friends and family life, and there's just a lot going on, and the idea of dating someone can feel a bit overwhelming because it's another thing to put on your plate, another person to focus on and worry about. So she could be feeling a sense of overwhelm. Another thing might be that maybe she feels like she's known you for so long that she's comfortable with the friendship and she doesn't want to potentially lose that by potentially dating, right? This is something I think people have to recognize, that when you go from being a friend to dating someone, if that dating period doesn't work out, it might be hard to go back to a friendship. It might be awkward. It might be weird. So sometimes people who are friends with you already are hesitant to take a chance in dating you because they don't want to lose the friendship. They know the friendship works. It's what they have right now. They don't want to potentially risk that at all. So that might be a reason there. Another one might be that maybe she likes someone else, right? And maybe she's not really sure and she doesn't want to settle down yet until she finds the right type of person to date. So what can you do in that situation? Well, I think in that situation, the best thing you can do is to just keep at it, really, right? To keep flirting with her, to keep asking her to hang out, spend one-on-one time with her, start to build up the experiences of what you would get in a relationship with her, so that she can see what it would be like actually dating you. Oh my God. It is really hot in this room now. It wasn't hot, now it's really hot. So she can see what the experience would be like in dating you. Now, you don't want to take on the boyfriend role without being the boyfriend. That's true. But I definitely think that there's a place for you to kind of give her a bit of the experience of what it would be like actually being in a relationship with you. And that might be leading up to asking her out again, and then, again in the future, and then again in the future again. Grayson says, hey Josh, so I'm going back to school in August, but I'm a gamer. So how do I balance my gaming with my schoolwork? By the way, Grayson's my real name. Yeah, I figured Grayson, right? Grayson is your real name. But when it comes to kind of balancing schoolwork and gaming, now if gaming is something that you're thinking about doing as like a career or something you want to build up, it's possible to balance school and gaming. But the real challenge, I think, runs into this. It's that you have to recognize what's priority and what's secondary, what's primary and what's secondary in your life right now. And there's a potential that may switch in the future. But as of right now, school is probably the priority and gaming is probably secondary. So you have to kind of build your life around school, obviously, right? You go to school in the morning, you do your homework, study, all that kind of stuff. And then when you have free time, you play your games and you work on your channel or whatever it is that you're doing with gaming. The best way to kind of make sure you don't lose sight of what you're doing with gaming is to set up a schedule. Maybe every night at 9 p.m. you're going to try to play a game. You're going to try to game, or on the weekends or something like that. Try to create a schedule because it becomes easier for you to kind of stick to something, and you'll be a lot more focused. You'll waste a lot less time because you have that schedule to work with. Let's see. Cookie Monster asked a really, really interesting question. How do you know if you are the problem or it's just the approach? Good question. Now, I think the way that you can kind of figure out whether it's something that you're doing or it's just the approach is you have to have enough case studies to figure that out, right? Like you're not going to figure it out in just one person. You're not going to approach one girl and say, well, it didn't work out. It was me, or it was what I did. You have to approach multiple girls. And what you'll see is if you tweak different things that you do, let's say the first girl you message her online and you talk to her online and build up a really strong online friendship and then you ask her out, versus the second girl, which you talk to online, but you quickly ask her out. You get right to asking out. Like you can test out and tweak different things and you'll start to see what works and what doesn't work. And it's only when you've kind of done it enough times you start to say, oh, you know what? Maybe it is the way I approach people. Maybe it is how I start the conversation. Maybe it is how I just generally chat with them. you'll have enough data to kind of really reflect on, analyze, and make a real determination for it to see how you can better, better get the result that you want in the future. Let's see, let's grab some more questions in here. Haramore says, Josh, I see you saw my cheesy water ASMR and muggy pictures. My New York accent came off as British. Yeah, dude, I saw that video, man. That was really, really funny. Kudos to you, man. Kudos to you for putting that together. I enjoyed it. All right. Let's get into some more questions here. Sig Hansen asked a really important question. Starting college in August, any tips or advice on what will be different and why, or on anything? So I'm curious. I'll just set up a quick chat poll here. Let's ask. I'm curious what grade you guys will be starting next school year. Let's just put. How many options can I add? Sophomore, junior, senior. If you guys want to jump into the chat and just answer right now, that'd be cool. Junior, senior high school. Let's see. Freshman. College. Hold on. Freshman college. All right, let's see. If you guys are not within that range, feel free to type it in the chat. I'm curious to see where you guys fall. But Sig asked a really good question there. So starting college in August. So my advice for that, Sig, is this, is that you're entering a totally new arena. College is very, very different from high school, and you're going to see that right off the bat. College is going to be a lot more independent. College is going to be there's going to be a lot more responsibility on you to take care of the work. But what's also awesome about college is that it is a new environment for you to make new friends and to reestablish yourself, right? So you are now in a place where you can talk to people. You can introduce yourself to people right from the get-go, and no one's going to think it's weird because everyone that's a freshman just like you is starting out fresh, right? So if you can talk to any new freshmen that are in your class, chances are you're going to make a lot of friendships. And that's a good way to start. So, it's like you're kind of starting with that clean slate in a brand new place. So really, really take advantage of it. Make the most of it, guys. I should have asked you guys, are you in high school, middle school, college? But anyway, you guys can type in the chat. But so Sig, so that'd be my piece of advice. I wish it was something I did sooner in college, which was recognize that, there are people I can just talk to and I can open up to, and I don't have to worry about people not liking me or thinking I'm weird, because everyone is weird in that first few weeks. They don't know anyone. They don't know anything. They're trying to find their way around the school and stuff. It's a cluster crash, man. Like you're totally gonna, it's gonna be stressful. But I think you have a real opportunity to make new friends and to establish yourself there. You're going, another piece too, you're going to get the hang of it really, really quick. Once you do it for 1 week or so, and you know where the buildings are, you know where the rooms are, it becomes easy. It goes right back into routine very, very quickly. But you have those initial few weeks in the beginning to really step up and introduce yourself to people. And this is what's awesome about college. Think about it like this. Let's say you're taking 4 classes this semester. Right? 4 classes. That's 4 opportunities to make new friends. Every semester, you're going to be there with different people. So you have new opportunities every single semester to create new friends. This is not like high school where it's like you have a high school year group and that's it. Like you get to know people and you don't get to know them and that's it. College is a way different beast, man. So you have a real opportunity to kind of step up and do something really, really cool there. All right. So I asked in the chat poll, but I see a lot of you guys are jumping in and answering there. Most of you guys, 50% of you guys are starting junior, senior year in high school. So, I'm curious, how do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel nervous? Do you feel worried? Do you feel ready for it? Do you feel annoyed that you have to go back to school so soon? I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Some of you guys have finished college. Some of you guys are, let's see, a sophomore. I'm just reading through what you guys are saying. Hey, Emma, how's it going? Um, Grayson says, Josh, when COVID is over, will you start visiting schools and colleges again? Yes, absolutely, Grayson. Once it becomes easier and more safe to start traveling around, I definitely want to start visiting schools again. It's definitely something that is on my bucket list of stuff to do, to get back into kind of speaking directly to classes and to auditoriums of people and stuff like that. So definitely it's on there, man. So when the time comes, invite me to your school, introduce me to someone at your school, a principal, a counselor, a teacher, someone, and I'll make it happen. Cool. Let's end that poll there, and let's jump back into some more questions here. Let's see. How do you escalate a conversation into the more intimate stuff? Ooh, interesting one, right? So let's say you're having that kind of basic, you know what? I haven't done a video on this yet, but that's a really, really good question. I'm going to take a mental note and make a video on that. You know, I've talked a lot about kind of learning about their hobbies, learning about their interests, and flirting with them, complimenting them. But how do you really start to make a conversation a little bit more sexual, more flirty in that way? Well, it's totally normal to do that. And I think that as you get to know the person better, it's naturally going to happen. The way that you start to lead into it, I would say, is you want to start testing the waters by kind of first complimenting them. That's kind of the initial step, right? Like if you can compliment them, you can say they look good and stuff. Another thing might be to kind of add in elements of role play, right? So what I mean by that is this. It's like an element of role play might be something like, man, I can't wait to kiss you the next time I see you. Or, you know what, like next time we hang out, I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to put my arms around you and not let you go. Like, adding an element of role play so that you're letting them know that you're thinking about them in a more physical way, right? So by dropping in those things, you're going to start to establish with them, hey, we can talk like this to each other. Now, if you say something like that, like, you know, I can't wait to kiss you next time I see you, and they're just like, okay, that's weird or something like that, then you know where the boundary is, you know that they're not ready for that kind of conversation, they don't feel comfortable with it yet. But you could start testing out by adding in those elements of role play of what you'd want to do with them, as long as you don't make it super graphic, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with graphic conversations back and forth, but you need to build to that, obviously, right? But you definitely want to start with smaller things like that. Next, I can't wait to hug you next time I see you. I can't wait to kiss you. I'm not going to let you go. I just want to put my arms around you, things like that can kind of start to initiate and build the groundwork there. Rage Master says, I graduated high school almost 12 years ago. Wow, man, that's a long time. When did I graduate high school? Oh, boy. I graduated high school in 2005, guys. 2005. I graduated college 2009. So that's a long, long time ago. Cool. All right, let's get into some more here. Diego says, Josh, why does my crush keep telling me she's busy when it comes to hanging out, but yet she keeps pictures on Instagram with other guys and friends? Yeah, Diego, this is a common thing that happens. Sometimes your crush may tell you that they're busy, they don't want to hang out with you, but then you see them super active in other places, and it makes you wonder, like, why are they blowing me off? Why are they being weird? Why aren't they being honest and stuff? A lot of times you just got to recognize that sometimes when people say that they're busy, it's a way to kind of lightly let you down so that, they don't like outright hurt your feelings. I think a lot of people tend to do that, right? They might say like, oh, I have a boyfriend, or, oh, I'm not really looking to date right now. They might say these things to kind of just like give themselves a soft way out. I think that it could be very easy to get annoyed by that or to feel offended by that. But I think ultimately the lesson you should try to take away from that, the experience you should try to focus on with that is this person is not in a place where they feel comfortable enough to hang out with me yet. So how can I create more of an environment where they feel comfortable? That's the direction you want to go. Azim, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Azim asked a very simple, straightforward question. Do you still wear a mask because of the rise of Delta? So I still I'm vaccinated. I got both my vaccines, the Pfizer vaccines. I wear my mask whenever I go into stores. If I'm like in a big crowd type of area, I'll probably wear my mask. But usually when I go into stores and places like that, I wear it. When I'm kind of outside by myself or me and my wife are walking around and stuff, I usually don't wear it. But if I'm in a store, I'll just put it on. Honestly, it doesn't bother me to, like, I just put it on, go into the store, do my thing, and then leave. But I think it kind of there's that element, I think, of making sure I'm not spreading anything or no one's spreading something to me, hopefully. But I see people with masks, without masks and stuff. I think ultimately you should do what will make you feel the most comfortable. Obviously, I think getting vaccinated is probably the best step. But as far as wearing the masks, try to wear them when you're around a lot of people, I would say. But thank you so much for the $2 super chat, Azim. Let's grab some more here. NJ Fan says, in September, but I'm going to 6th grade, but I'm going to a different middle school than my friends are going. How can I talk to them because I'm too young to have social media? Yeah, NJ Fan, I think this is something that happens too, right? Like, whether you're going to 6th grade or you're graduating high school, there may come a point in your life where you and your friends are going to split ways. You're going to part ways. You're going to go to different schools. Someone's going to move away. You're going to run into a situation where it's not going to be your core friend group as you knew it. Now, the way I think you kind of prepare for something like that, the way you kind of get yourself ready mentally and both physically for that is try to take as much time as you can now to spend with them, right? If that means hanging out with them, if that means talking to them. Now, as you mentioned, you're too young to have social media, and I understand that. Maybe one thing you can try doing is maybe they have an email address or their parents have an email address or a phone number or some way for you to communicate with them. If not, if let's say you don't have that, the next best thing you can do is, and this is going to sound old school, but try to get their physical address and write letters to each other. Like, the idea of sending each other mail sounds so archaic, right? Like mail. But every time I get mail from someone now, it's like, whoa, this is pretty cool. This is weird. So that might be a way to communicate and stuff. You might want to draw a picture and send it to your friend. You might want to send them stickers. You might want to, do fun stuff to stay in communication until you can get social media. All right, let me answer one more, and then I want to share some cool stuff with you guys here. Luca Kiami says, hey Josh, is there any way I can connect with my new crush next year if she is remote next year while I'm in person? Yeah, Luca, this is always a challenge, right? This is something I did a video on this actually. How to kind of connect with your crush, how to communicate with them if you guys are remote learning and the ease of communication isn't there. If your only method of talking to her is going to end up being, just kind of through your Zoom chats or school chats, or maybe you guys have like a group email for school, it's going to be difficult, right? I'm going to be honest, it's going to be difficult. One thing you may want to try doing, and what I talked about in that video was, if you could send out an email to all the people in the class, let them know, hey guys, this is so-and-so from the class. I want to get to know everyone better. So I'm going to create an Instagram group chat where we can all talk. If you want to join, let me know what your Instagram handle is. That might be a way to take it now from the school setting of Zoom and all these things to a more personal setting of Instagram. And if your crush joins, and now you can talk to her on Instagram, and that's the kind of way out. But use the idea of creating a group chat as a way to kind of segment and like pull people in from the school boring setting of school emails and all that stuff to like a more fun setting of Instagram. But I want to jump in and share some cool things with you guys here. So one of the things that I mentioned in the past that I love talking about, I love sharing with you guys, is our Discord community. I think you guys are all awesome, right? And I would love to have you as members of our community. Our Discord community is just a really great place to make friends, to share what's on your mind, to ask questions, to get advice, to give advice. We have tons and tons of different boards covering different things like books and school and dating and LGBTQ. And there's a board where you can just vent and let your anger out and stuff. It's just a really, really awesome place. So go to thejoshspeaks.com/Discord. Join. It's free. It's an open community, open to everyone 13 and older. I'd love to have you as a member on it, guys. You're going to meet some really, really cool people in there. Before I get into anything else, I want to jump into Azim's super chat. Azim, thank you so much. Azim said, some people may think you're undateable. You may want to prove yourself to them, but how do you do it? Just like people may make up their first kiss, just like people may make their first kiss impossible. Anthony says the Discord is meh. I agree, Anthony. There could be times where it could be meh. That's why we need awesome community members in there to kind of spice it up. I think we have great community members. That's my perspective on it. But it's okay to feel that way. Azim, so this is a really good question. If a person thinks you're undateable, You could spend time trying to convince them, right? Convince them to change their mind, convince them to see you differently, convince them to like you. You could do that. Now, obviously, I'm going to say the easy answer is it's not worth chasing someone that doesn't view you in a way that they want to get to know you. It's not worth chasing them there. There are moments in their potential experiences where, hey, maybe you need to be persistent and that will actually get you the girl. Yeah, that's true. But I think a lot of times if a person has determined you are undateable and they've told you flat out, I only see you as a friend, I'm only ever going to see you as a friend, in those instances, it might make sense to kind of focus on other people. But how do you change someone's mind? How do you show someone that you are dateable? Well, there's a few different factors. One of the main factors is you want to have some level of social proof. You want to show to that person that you are someone that's dateable, right? Because they don't view you as dateable right now. So the way that you can show them that you're dateable is by dating other people, right? It sounds counterintuitive because you want to date them, but by dating other people, they're going to see, wow, other people like Azim. There must be something there that I want to get to know. Or, like, hey, wow, like maybe I missed my chance with him. And, maybe when he's single, I'll try to ask him out now. You want to show that person that you are dateable by dating other people. And the benefit there is that you start to see that, hey, there are people outside of my crush that I can get to know. And my crush isn't the only one that I need to pursue. So the way that you kind of prove yourself to them is give them space, right? If that person feels you're undateable, stop pursuing them. Doesn't mean you have to cut them off completely, but stop pursuing them. Focus on other people, meet other people, talk to other people, flirt with them, ask them out, build up those skills. And then in the future, we're talking about a few months, we're talking about a year, whatever it may be, whatever you feel is enough time for you, approach them again and reintroduce yourself. Say, hey, wow, I haven't spoken to you in so long. So much has changed since then. This is what's gone on in my life. And let them see that you've evolved and you've grown. Because now if they've seen that you've grown from the person that they once knew, you may be dateable. But if they've come up with a hard stance that, you're undateable, then, then it might just not be worth it. Rage Master says, I have to disagree with Anthony. Discord is awesome. Discord is my way to go social media. I agree. I think our Discord channel is awesome. I think we have really, really awesome people in there. But you're going to have to figure out for yourself. That's why you need to join. All right, let's get into some more. But Azim, thank you for that question. I hope that answer was helpful for you. Judah Rondez says, Josh, as you know, Desiree blocked me, and I told you I was okay with that, but I want to ask her to get Starbucks after school when it starts back up in August. What are some ways to execute it? Yeah, that's a good question, Judah. So, kind of reflecting on what I just shared there. Sorry. Take a quick water break. If you want to show her that you are someone worth unblocking, she needs to kind of see that you are different from the person that, like you've grown and matured since the last time she blocked you. Now, if you want to ask her to get Starbucks when school starts back up, I would say that might be a second or third conversation to have. The first, or maybe the third conversation. The first and second conversations, you want to be more casual, to just reintroduce yourself. Hey, how's it going? How was your summer? Did you do anything fun? Hey, it was good catching up with you. Second time around, hey, I feel like you were talking about this last time. I was really curious. Why did you do that? Dive more into the connection. Then by the third, you might want to say, I'm really enjoying talking and stuff. If you're interested, let's go grab Starbucks after school one day. We yawned at the same time. Yeah, it gets really hot in this room and I just yawn and yawn and yawn. That's why I drink, literally I finish my water way before the live stream ends. But so that's what you kind of want to really focus on, Judah. You want to reintroduce yourself to her and have her say, hey, okay, maybe I didn't need to block him. He seems like a pretty cool guy. Until eventually she's like, okay, might as well hang out with him, I think it'll be good. Lucas says, I noticed 2 users, Judah Rondas and Bandit Bricks, trying to get your attention. They seem to be getting impatient. Please keep an eye out for them. Thank you, Luca, for bringing that to my attention. I'll try to get to your guys' question. Look, if I don't get to your question, if I miss it, there's still other ways to communicate with me. I'll pull one up right now. I mentioned in the beginning of the stream here, guys, but if you have a quick question, something you want to just ask me, shoot me a text message. This is my number, 1-718-400-7129. I try to respond to those every day or every other day if I can, but shoot me a text message is one of the easiest ways to just ask me a quick question, guys. So if I don't get to your question here, That's the alternative. If you have a burning question, like I said before, use the super chat function. That'll put it front and center, and I will definitely get to your burning question. So make sure to use that, guys. Let's get the Bandit Bricks question here. Bandit Brick says, sorry, I ate right before this live stream. So my crush acts friendly when I see her at school, but when I told her to start when I tried to start fun conversations with her after a week of texting her, she told me she doesn't care. What shall I chat about with her now? Interesting. So, it's possible that, like you said, the type of conversations you're having with her are not ones that she's finding enjoyable. So the way I think to kind of like start fun conversations with her where she actually wants to engage is try to lean more on learning about her, right? So a fun conversation can be you talking about something that you like, but a fun conversation can also be talking about something that you know that she likes. Now, if you know she likes it, she might be more open to talking about it. So that might be the direction you want to kind of focus on. I do get a little impatient from time to time. Yeah, no problem, dude. I get it. Like, look, I think a lot of us have questions that we want answered, and I try my best to answer as many as I can. That's why super chat function's there, and that's why there are alternative ways to chat and talk to me and stuff. But just try not to spam, because what it does is it kind of just like it discourages me from wanting to answer those questions. It kind of blocks out everyone else's questions and stuff. It's not a good look. All right, let's get to some more here. Edward Cross says, I screwed up really bad and DM'd my crush out of nowhere and therefore never got a response. Edward, I hear you on that. Look, it's a normal screw up, right? That's not like an out of nowhere, like off the wall, you mess things up type of thing. Depends on what you messaged her, I guess. But if it was a simple message like, hey, how's it going? What's up? How are you? Some kind of basic thing, and she didn't respond, that's okay. You can come back from that. Just recognize that that's not a good way to start a conversation with someone. Sure. It's not a good way to start a conversation with someone, especially if you don't really have a connection with them to begin with. Never start a conversation with someone that you don't really know with like, hey, what's up? It's too boring. It's too simple. Anyone can say it, so there's nothing unique about it. All right, let's jump in and answer some more. We're at 32 likes. We can get this to 35. I'm confident we can get this to 35. Cookie Monster says, what are the resources available to improve your texting skills and get feedback? Good question there. So I have a few different resources available. As you know, I have tons and tons of videos. Right, so the videos I think will kind of break down a lot of it, right? They'll break down the technique, they break down the work. If you look, I have a playlist that's dedicated to how to text someone that you like, so look up that playlist on my channel. But ultimately what I would say is that if you just need conversation topics, you need something to fill the gap between you and your crush so there's no silence, that's where my 20 icebreaker conversation starters fit in. This is a free guide I've put together that breaks down different conversation topics you could start using with your crush to help get closer to them. And what's cool about this guide is I've broken it up into different sections. There's hypothetical situations, there's direct questions, there's asking things about them that they like. And not only do I give you the question as the example, I give you follow-up questions that you can use, right? Because no conversation is just one question. It's usually multiple levels to it, multiple layers. So I give you kind of what are good follow-ups, and then I give you alternatives for each of those questions. So you can just swap out the thing that you're talking about and it becomes a new question. So check it out, guys. Go to the joshspeaks.com/ice-breakers and it'll take you to my free icebreaker conversation starters guide. All right, let's get some more in here. J-Dog Gaming says, how do you ask someone out if you have parents that don't like you having a girlfriend during school life? Yeah, J-Dog, this is a normal thing to deal with, man. Sometimes your parents are not going to want you to date. It's just the simple truth. And the reason they don't want you to date is because they're afraid it's going to interfere with school. They're afraid that you're going to get distracted. You're not going to pay attention to class. So it's a reasonable concern for a parent to feel that way, right? It's a reasonable concern. Doesn't mean it will happen. It doesn't mean that it's always true, but it's reasonable. Now, what do you do about it? How do you convince your parents to think otherwise? Well, the way that you kind of get your parents on board with the idea of you dating is you want to start to demonstrate levels of responsibility in front of them. If they can see that you're responsible, if they can see that you take care of your homework, they can see that you clean your room, if they see that you walk the dog or you take out the trash, if they recognize and really notice that you're stepping up and being more responsible around the house, they're going to start to feel like, okay, you know what, maybe we can kind of pull back and be a little bit more understanding and let him do his thing. Another thing you can do to kind of introduce the idea of a girlfriend to them is talk to them about a friend of yours, right? This can be made up, but talk to them about a friend of yours who just started dating a girl, and let your parents know, oh yeah, what do you think his parents should do? Do you think his parents should let him date her? Do you think his parents should, break them up? Like, try to create a sample scenario of someone else and then ask your parents what they think of that sample scenario. Another piece you could try doing is this. So what you can focus on is introduce your parents to the idea of someone as just a friend at first. So let's say there's a girl that you like and you really want to get to know and you want to date her, but your parents are not on board. You might want to say, hey, mom and dad, I made a new friend today. This is her name. She's really cool. We get along really, really well. I really, really think she's awesome. Drop that in for your parents. Let your parents see that, okay, he has a friend. He's doing his thing. And then talk more about that friend. Show them pictures of the two of you hanging out. Let your parents know that you guys have been chatting a lot. Let your parents start to kind of put 2 and 2 together and make 4 and realize, wait a second, I think they might be more than just friends. That's how you get them on board. But that small incremental process of getting them accustomed to and used to the idea of seeing that you are responsible and that you have someone there in your life that you want to date. But good question there. Azim the Dream says, I feel like I've been kind of reclusive ever since the pandemic began. I want to go back out and meet new friends and get a girlfriend, but I don't know where to begin. I'm not even in touch with my old friend. Yeah, Azim, you're not alone in this experience, man. I think a lot of us kind of fell into hermit mode. Once the pandemic happened and we stopped talking to people as much, we stopped going out as much, we stopped really kind of doing the things that we were doing before in social context, and we just really focused on home life and survival, really. So what do you do? How do you kind of re-spark a post-COVID kind of life? I think the way that you kind of go about doing that is, you got to understand this too. You're not alone in kind of wanting to get out and do something and be out there, right? Millions of people are in that boat where now that we're getting to kind of more of a post-COVID life, depending on where you live, people want to be out more. People want to interact more. People want to make friends. They want to socialize once again because that's a piece of their life that was missing for so long. So where do you go about kind of finding these people? Sorry. I'd say the place you go about finding these people is search for online meetup groups. Search for Facebook communities. Reach out to old friends that you haven't talked to in a long time. Try to make that a goal of yours to reach out to one new friend every single day. One, old friend that you had reach out to them, set a new process for yourself where you can talk to them, you can catch up with them, and you could potentially make plans. That's going to kind of be the focus there. All right, so I'm reading through here. Yancey says, hey, Josh, what do I do when Kendall gets kind of angry at me for talking to Haley about our conversation? Yeah, Yancey, I hear you on that. Sometimes people get angry when you share private conversations, right? So if you had a conversation with Kendall and she's angry that you talked to Haley about it, it's possible that maybe she feels a bit embarrassed. She feels like maybe she can't keep secrets. Maybe she can't confide in you. So the best thing you definitely want to do is, unless the secret is something that is potentially harmful, you generally want to kind of be respectful of people's privacy. So if someone tells you something, try to be respectful of it, not just blab it out and let everyone else know. All right, let's jump in and answer some more here. Nick's Skate says, so Josh, the question is, how do I tell her I want to break up with her, but also not trying to hurt her feelings? So Nick, I did a video on this too, how to break up with someone without hurting their feelings. The way that you kind of go about doing that is you want to do things in a way that's peaceful, in a way that... Here's the thing. If you were to break up with someone and you were to give them all the logical reasons why, we didn't work together, we fought a lot, I didn't feel comfortable around you. Like, let's say you come up with a whole laundry list of reasons why you don't want to date them anymore. Dropping that on them is not going to make them go, oh, okay, I was the mistake all along and I did all this stuff wrong and therefore I'm the problem. No one's going to do that, right? What they're instead going to do is they're going to get defensive. They're going to get hurt, and the hurt is going to lead to defensiveness, right? Because what is anger, right? Anger is the surface level of deeper emotions, right? So asking someone out and them responding, let's say, in a harsh way, is this kind of surface level of emotions. Deep inside, they may be feeling something more. They may be feeling that this is awkward, this is uncomfortable, I don't like this person, where'd they get the idea from? You know, like, that's where their mind may go. Okay. Let's see here, guys. Sorry about that. It's really hot. I feel like I'm starting to fall asleep here from the heat. I can't open the window more. All right. Let's see. Oh, so when it comes to telling her that you want to break up with her, I think the most honest way really to do that is to just let her know that you don't really feel like you are heading in the direction that you want. You might feel like you guys might be better off as friends, that you guys maybe, you know, like maybe can kind of take some time apart, go on a break, really spend some time thinking through what you really need in a relationship, letting her know that, because you may feel like the relationship isn't giving you what you need. Now, she may interpret that as like she's wrong or she's bad or she's not good enough, but it's important to assure her that, you know, a relationship doesn't usually rest on one person making the mistakes. A relationship usually rests on both people drifting apart. So it's not a matter of she's bad. It might just be a matter of you feel like you're drifting apart from her and you think it's best to kind of let that be. Hey, welcome back, Grayson. All right. Let's see. Cheyenne Hall says, hey, Josh, what do? I like a girl. She is bi like I am, but she doesn't like me back. And it hurts me. She leaves me on scene and she is mean to me. I'm sorry to hear that, Cheyenne. Yeah, you know, when you like someone and you kind of get left on scene, it stings a bit, right? It's like, why didn't they respond to me? Do they not care enough? Do they not like me? Do they think I'm weird? Your mind goes into this whole kerfuffle of all potential reasons why you are bad and why everything you did is wrong, right? Like, that's where your mind goes. And I think a better way to approach it is this. It's that if a person leaves you on scene, realistically, they didn't find what you were talking about engaging enough for them to continue talking. Now, it sounds harsh, but it's the truth, right? It's like, if the conversation weren't engaging enough, they probably would have responded back. Now, it's possible maybe she was busy. Maybe she doesn't respond as much. Maybe she doesn't use her phone as much. Or maybe she's not on Instagram as much. Those are all possibilities, but most of the time, I personally feel like it's because the message or the conversation just isn't grabby enough to want to actually have it. So that's something you might want to think about revisiting, Cheyenne. Thinking deeply about what it is that you can talk to her about to potentially get her interest. But ultimately, if she doesn't like you, I know it sucks, but you might have to move on. Jalen says, hi, Josh. I don't think I will ever ask her out. I hear you on that, Jalen. I know that you're in a tough predicament where, you know, your crush is no longer there in a way where you can interact with them. So that always adds a difficulty to the interactions. So Nick Skate responded and said, yeah, but like the fact is her ex broke her trust so much and I don't want to lose all her trust, even in herself. Yeah, Nick, something important to kind of realize is that you are not her ex. You're totally different people and you have totally different approaches to life. And the best thing you can try doing is helping her recognize that you are different. You're not that old person that she once knew. You're someone that brings your own thoughts and feelings and experiences to the table, and that no matter what the case may be, you are open to talking things through and working things out. You want to really, really establish that and say that to her so that she doesn't kind of group you in with, well, my ex hurt me and therefore you might hurt me. You don't want to get bucketed into that type of group. All right, let's grab some more questions here. Roma Radical says, hey Josh, as this face-to-face school year begins, I'm getting increasingly nervous about talking to my crush in person. I haven't spoken to her like this since before COVID. How do I overcome this? Yeah, really good question there. When it comes to kind of having that first conversation back in school, it's going to be scary. You're going to feel a bit nervous. These are normal feelings to encounter. The way you kind of manage them ultimately is going to be entering the scene with a level of confidence in your display. Now, that may come from building that up over the summer, right? Maybe by the time school starts, you're going to feel like, dude, I got nothing to worry about. If a person says no to me in any capacity, I can find another person. I can move on. I'm not bound by them. So that's kind of the place and the mindset you want to get into. Ashton Smith says, hey Josh, I hurt this girl I'm in love with a few months ago. I feel terrible, but I'm not sure how to go about apologizing when she refuses to talk to me. I'm pretty attached and not sure what to do. Yeah. Here's what I would say. I think that when it comes to talking to a person in person for the very first time, the direction that you want to go is showing them that you've evolved and you've grown over time. That's the angle. That's the direction. That's the way that they're really going to see, like, whoa, this person is different from how I once knew them. Now, throughout the summer, you may want to periodically message her, periodically talk to her, but don't become buddy-buddy to the point where she feels like she's talked to you every single day. And therefore, there's nothing of value, no mystery, no excitement that you bring to the table when you do come back. It is scary to talk to them, but that first few days is where you really get the opportunity to put your confidence on display. If you can show your crush, if they can outright see that, wow, this guy has changed. Wow, he's cool. He's exciting. He's interesting. He's suave. He's all these different things, confident. That's how you're going to kind of break the cycle of them viewing you in that way. Ashton Smith says, hey Josh, I hurt the girl I'm in love with a few months ago. I feel terrible, but I'm not sure how to go about apologizing when she refuses to talk to me. I'm pretty attached and not sure what to do. Yeah, I hear you on that. Look, Ashton, if you got this, if you did something that kind of hurt this girl and she's not ready to move forward, the best thing you can do is to give her space, obviously, right? Like, give her space to work through things, to figure things out, to set her own level of comfort in talking to you. That's what you really want. From your end, what you can do is reduce the focus of what you're connecting with her over and bring it back to the basics. That's going to allow you to kind of reestablish yourself in her eyes. So here's an example. Let's say you messaged your crush and your crush didn't respond for a day or two and you got upset and you sent them a really mean message. What the hell's your problem? Why don't you ever respond? Why are you so mean? And then they respond and go, wow, what the heck, dude? Like, why are you so angry? It's going to be hard for your crush to shake the thought of you are that person who's temperamental, who gets angry, who feels insecure. So the only way for them to change that perspective is for them to start to now see that you are interacting with them in a very kind way. When you see her, give her a simple wave, say, hey, how's it going? How you doing? Keep conversation very, very basic for a while, because that basic conversation is going to allow her to really, really see, okay, you know what? He's kind of different now. He's kind of changed. Things are a lot more cooler. Azim, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Azim said, let's say you just meet someone new or an old crush. How do you know when to ask her out? Like, can you be in the friend zone for a while and then start to flirt? The answer is yes, you can be in the friend zone and still flirt. Just because you're in the friend zone doesn't mean you can't flirt or hang out one-on-one with a girl. right? You still could do those things. It just may not lead to the result that you want, which is maybe hooking up with her or dating her, whatever it may be. So when it comes to meeting up with them and asking them out, when is the right time to do that? I would say, like, and I'm giving you a rough number because it really is all going to depend on how close you reestablish that bond with them. But let's assume by like the third date, the third time talking to them, you ask them out. Now, look, if you see them once a day in school, by the third day, ask them to hang out one-on-one. You definitely want to make sure you invested enough time in communicating and flirting and talking and joking and all those pieces I keep talking about. You want to know that you've invested enough time before you ask them out. Or you may want to just rest on the excitement of unpredictability, right? Let's say the girl you like loves playing musical instruments. She's just a musically talented person. Now, you find out that you both have the same band in common. Wow, you like this band. That's so cool. I like this band too. But she doesn't really respond to you as often. She kind of, like gives you wishy-washy answers. And you're left wondering, should I ask her out now? Are we connected enough? Is it going to be weird? You're asking those basic questions. So the way that you kind of go about asking her out is hype up something, build up an experience that you can do with her, because when you do ask her out, she's going to be excited to spend time with you and to enjoy the experience. So that's a direction you really want to kind of focus on, Azim. You really want to focus on just building up with those small steps of talking and flirting and interacting and hanging out, going for a walk, and then start lead to the deeper form of kind of communicating and connecting with her, which is something that's definitely going to take a lot of time. But thank you so much, Azim, for that. On that note, guys, I think it's time to bring in the bell for our mindful moment. I'm reading a book called No Mud, No Lotus right now by the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. And in it, he mentions kind of bell meditation, right? He mentions how we can use the sound of the bell as a way to come back to the present moment, to be here in the now. By listening to the sound of the bell, we can breathe in deeply, feel the air in our lungs, and recognize that I am alive. And breathing out, we can do the same. But one thing he mentions about the bell is that the bell is part of your experience of meditation. So you never want to strike the bell or hit the bell. You want to invite the bell. You want to invite the bell into this moment, invite the bell into the experience with you as you're having it. So with that, I'd like to invite the bell to join us for this mindful moment. I will warm up the bell. Bell is sleeping. Let's warm it up. And I want us to close our eyes. If you're able to right now, you're watching on your phone, you're watching on a computer, close your eyes. We're just going to do it for 10 seconds. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in with me as we think deeply. As we think deeply about how we are creating a presence that is invitational to those in our lives. Are we friendly? Are we open? Do we communicate? Do we show an interest in others? Do we explain and teach others about ourselves and our own needs and interests? Think about how you can invite people into your life and create a scenario where they feel welcomed, like a guest coming into your home is. Let's think deeply about how we can work on those invitation skills we can bring forward in any interactions that we have. Let's warm up the bell. We'll close our eyes, and for 10 seconds, take a deep breath in, think deeply on that. Thank you all so much for being a part of this live stream. I had a really, really good time chatting with you guys, answering your questions. This has been a lot of fun. If you guys have any other burning questions, things you want, like I said, shoot me a text message or join our Discord community. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to make friends, to get to know people better, to, just feel like you are part of something, part of a place where you are also learning and growing with others. So if you're watching a replay, check out the videos over there. Thank you guys. There will not be an Instagram after party. I'm probably not going to do any for the rest of July. I might pick them back up in August. We'll see. But thank you guys for being a part of this live stream. Join our Discord, guys, thejoshspeaks.com/Discord. And I will catch you guys over there. And I'll catch you back here on YouTube on Tuesday. On that note, catch you next time. As always, love and peace. See you guys then.